My stepdaughter wants her real dad to give her away. Fine, let her real dad pay for it. My stepdaughter will be getting married on August 3rd. The wedding planning has consumed most of her and her mother's life for the past 6 months. Her mother and I have been together for over 10 years, but we're not officially married. My stepdaughter graduated last December from university. I paid for her to go to college. Though it was a state school, it still cost $40,000. She doesn't have a job and has been living with us throughout her college years, and even after graduation. I also bought her a car so she could get back and forth from school when she finished high school. From time to time, her deadbeat father would pop into her life, and she would fawn all over him, even though he has not contributed a cent to her education or paid any child support. That's partially my girlfriend's fault, as child support wasn't part of the settlement. Still, she loves him and wants him in her life. He stays just long enough to break her heart by skipping town or breaking some promise he made. The wedding venue holds a maximum of 250 people. I provided them with a list of 20 people I wanted invited, since I was paying for everything. They assured me it was no problem and that they'd take care of it. So I told those 20 people to expect an invitation and to save the date. Then on Saturday, I saw one of my friends from the list at the golf course. I asked if he was coming. He said he hadn't been invited. According to him, he only got an announcement, not an invitation. He had it in the back seat and showed it to me. Sure enough, it was just a generic wedding announcement, and my name was nowhere on it. It only listed her dad's name and her mom's name. Not mine. That led to a pretty big fight with my girlfriend. I found out that none of the people on my list of 20 made the cut for the final guest list, because apparently, 250 people was very tight and they didn't have space for anyone else. I was upset, but there wasn't much I could do. The important people in my life had already been excluded. My girlfriend said that if some people didn't RSVP, maybe I could get a couple of people in. But that's the ultimate slap in the face, in my opinion. I was boiling. Then, on Sunday, we had a dinner with the future in-laws family, us, and a surprise guest, the real dad. During this dinner, my stepdaughter stood up and happily announced that her real dad was going to be able to make it to her wedding, and that now he'd be able to give her away. This was greeted with a lot of applause from everyone. I don't think I've ever felt so angry and disrespected. I was shaking. I had to take a few seconds to gather my composure, because I honestly wasn't sure if I was going to cry, throw punches, or both. Once I was sure I could speak, I stood up from my chair and said, "I'd like to make a toast." I can't remember exactly what I said, but the gist of it was this. I'd like to make a toast. The sound of spoons tapping glasses rang in my ears. It has been my great pleasure to be a part of this family for the past 10 years. Everyone smiled. How sweet. At this point in my life, I feel I owe a debt of gratitude to the bride and groom, because they've opened my eyes to something very important. Smiles were exchanged. They had shown me that my position in this family is not what I once thought it was. A glimmer of confusion and shock began to spread on the faces in the room. Though I once thought of myself as the patriarch or godfather of the family, someone who commanded great respect and was sought out for help in times of need, it seems I actually held the position of an ATM, good for a stream of money, but not much else. As I've been replaced as host both on the invitations and in the ceremony, I am now officially resigning my financial duties as host, to my successor, the real dad. So cheers to the happy couple and the path they have chosen. I finished my drink. You all can let yourselves out. Was this selfish? Am I supposed to shell out $40,000 to $50,000 for a wedding that I can't invite anyone to, and that I'm not even a part of? I'm so done with this crap. I'm done with my stepdaughter. I'm done with my girlfriend. I transferred the money out of our joint account last night. She hasn't had a job since she moved in with me. This morning, I called all the vendors I had written checks to for deposits and requested refunds. At present, it looks like I'll lose around $1,500 for the venue, but the other vendors have been great about refunding. Update 1, the immediate aftermath. There was a tantrum. People sat there mumbling, not saying anything directly to me, just whispering among themselves. After a lot of yelling from my girlfriend, accusing me of being selfish, I spent the night in my home office. No one knocked on the door. Not once. Today's aftermath is kind of depressing. My girlfriend brought me the bride's wedding planner to show me how much work I was ruining. I thumbed through it and found the page for the father-daughter dances. All of the songs were clearly picked based on the real dad's taste. That stung. At first, I thought they were just being disrespectful. But now I realize they probably never gave a crap at all. To top it off, the menu included 2 ingredients I'm allergic to. That actually made me laugh. It just proved how little I mattered to them. Either way, I'm glad to be done. I handed back the planner and asked her when she and the bride would be moving out. Also, I never promised to pay for the wedding. I offered them the use of my home, when they were sure it was going to be small. But after that, all I heard was how, it's the bride's family who should pay. So let it be the bride's family then. AKA, not me. Update 2, they've moved out. The girlfriend and the bride have moved out. They're now living with the groom. It was very hard not to be petty with some of the belongings they took with them, but it's done. I've changed the locks. Now it's time for a brew. I can't believe how popular this story got. But it feels good to be given support by so many people. If I find out what happens with the wedding, I'll let you know, but I can't guarantee I'll make the effort to find out. From what I've heard, they're trying to scale things back and get the groom's parents to help out. My girlfriend burned bridges when I found out she tried to write herself a check from our joint account the day after the unpleasantness. But I had already moved the money. So I guess I'm a bigger ass than she is. But honestly, I could feel it coming. That's all. Thanks for reading. Like and follow Reactionary Realms for more.